Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Caleb, and around these parts, I'm known as the Furniture Cowboy. My wife and I have created a business here in Austin, Texas, transforming random pieces of furniture we find into something truly spectacular. In today's video, we're going to be tackling this mid-century tallboy by McCoy Furniture, so without further ado, let's get right into it. The first thing we have to do before we get started is disassemble everything. We bought this piece off of Facebook Marketplace for 50 bucks, I think, and when we loaded it into the car, a lot of the drawer pulls were really loose, so somewhere along the drive, a lot of the drawer pulls fell out into the drawers. Thankfully, we still have them all, or at least I thought we did, but we'll come back to that later. Once everything's disassembled, that leads us right into step 2, strip. We're going in here with our favorite product for stripping, QCS by Stripwell, stands for quick, clean, and safe. It's non-flammable, almost 100% non-toxic, and it definitely made quick work of the finish on these drawers. I evenly misted it all over the drawer fronts, let it sit for 15 minutes before re-wetting and scraping it all off. I like to put a hot dog tray at the edge of the drawer, that way as I'm scraping towards that edge, it all just falls neatly into the hot dog tray. Well, at least most of it. Once I'm done scraping, I have a jar of QCS from previous projects, and even though it's murky and not clear anymore, it'll still do its job. So I'm getting some steel wool, dipping that into the jar, and cleaning up those drawer fronts one more time. Once you're done with the steel wool, be sure to wipe it off while it's still wet with either a paper towel or a shop towel. If you let it dry, you're going to have to go in with more QCS and re-wet it. Once we're done stripping, we're moving on to step 3, sand those drawers. So here the stripper's really done most of the work for me. It's already taken off the majority of the finish that was on these drawers. Here I'm just going in with an orbital sander with 180 grit and just cleaning up anything on the outside edges that it wasn't able to get, as well as evening everything out. Once that's all looking spick and span, we move on to step 4, remove the base. Alright, so I can already picture the comment section as I'm doing this. Please be kind to me. I know a lot of people are probably going to like the base that this already had. I liked it too, especially that metal piece in the front, that metal bar is super cool. But this piece barely came up to like a little bit above my waist. It's super short, and I'm also not a huge fan of these McCoy legs. McCoy Furniture always seems to put these fake round legs on the front of their pieces. I've left them there in the past and I ended up regretting it. I think it makes it look a little cheap. So this time I'm going to be removing this whole base. The circular saw made this super easy. I just knocked those front pieces off, lined up my track, and cut. That leads us right into step 5, clean. Here I'm just going in with our go-to simple green diluted with a ton of water. I recently got a comment, I don't remember if it was on YouTube or Instagram, but a comment that said that simple green is the most toxic cleaning product on the market. I would assume that a lot of cleaning products are probably pretty toxic, and I know a lot of them are meant to be diluted with water. One thing's for sure, this stuff does a great job of getting any gunk or sticky residue that's on the surface. Do your own research, use what you like. I know that a lot of people use Dawn dish soap for this too, and that works great as well. Once everything's cleaned, we move on to step 6, scuff sand. Here I'm just going in with a Diablo 180 grit sanding net on our orbital sander, giving the whole body a nice scuff sand, just smoothing out all the surfaces. I will say for this part, if you're working on an older piece, be sure not to crank it up to 5 and try to get it done really quick, because if you crank it up to 5 and you get close to one of the edges of the veneer, you're gonna pop that veneer off and you'll end up causing a lot more work for yourself. For scuff sanding, I like to set it between 2.5 and 3.5 and just let it do its thing. Once everything's scuff sanded, we're moving on to step 7, repair. For this piece, we're choosing to paint the body. For a lot of genuine mid-century stuff, we like to fully restore it, but this one's missing several chunks of veneer on the front of the piece, which is what everyone's going to be looking at. So for this step, we're really just gluing down any veneer that's popped up. That way we can wood fill any spots that need it later. Once we take that clamp off, we're ready for step 8, prime. If you watched our last video, I talked about how my sprayer for that piece wasn't spraying primer very well. I must not have done a very thorough job of cleaning it that other time, because this time it went on smooth like butter and gave me the exact coverage I wanted. Once that primer dries, we're ready for step 9, wood fill. For this project, I'm using Durham's putty, and I'm actually using very watered down Durham's putty because there's a lot of wood grain showing through on the top. So I'm just gonna go in and fill any of that wood grain pattern in that's showing and create a nice smooth surface. Once that's dry, we're going in with 180 grit and smoothing everything out. Once we're done with that first round of sanding, we're going to spot prime those spots. Sometimes you find yourself in a predicament where you think everything's nice and all the surfaces are perfect, but then you spot prime again and it reveals that you need to go back in with some more wood filler and do some more hand sanding. It's alright, it just comes with the territory, all just part of the job. But once that's done, make sure to wipe off any excess dust. And we're ready for step 10, paint. For this piece, we're going in with my current favorite color, Noir by Good Bones. I think the black is gonna go really well with the natural wood drawer fronts. I don't often talk much about my spraying technique, but when I'm spraying, basically I just make one pass, and then on the next pass, I try to overlap that pass by 50%. I don't know if that makes sense. I might have said that in the most confusing way possible, but it's the same idea as if you're mowing the lawn or vacuuming. You just want to overlap yourself a little bit just to make sure there's no potential spots you'll miss. Once we're done with that first coat, we go in with coat number 2. Once that second coat is dry, we're ready for step 11, polyurethane. So right off the bat here, I'm gonna go ahead and level with you guys. I'm doing 2 thick of coats of poly. When you're spraying poly on bare wood, you wanna make sure you do really light coats, because if you do 2 thick of coats, you're gonna change the color of the wood and it's gonna absorb into the wood grain rather than sitting evenly on the top. It's not the end of the world, but it is a little sad that that nice natural wood color has become a little more yellow. I did 2 coats of poly on the drawer fronts before mixing a little bit of that black paint into the poly can and doing 1 nice even coat of poly all over the body of the piece. We'll let that poly sit for a while we move on to step 12, drawer pulls. So, Earlier in this video, I mentioned that I thought we had all the pulls. When I was disassembling everything, I only found the 3, and for some reason it didn't occur to me that I needed the 4th. I guess in my head, I was like, oh, I guess there's only 3. So that's why in this clip, I'm just casually painting everything like it's no big deal. Thankfully, I was able to find that 4th pull in the trunk of my car, but man, I looked everywhere for that thing. With the drawer pulls taken care of, we're ready for step 13, legs. I don't know what was wrong with me when I woke up to work on the base of this piece. I definitely didn't eat my Wheaties because on this day, I decided to throw everything I knew out the window and not drill any pocket holes. I have no excuse. I have no idea. I just don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. I actually didn't realize until rewatching this clip that I didn't drill pocket holes, but I do remember noticing that things were really wobbly and I wasn't sure why. So I'm actually going to head to the garage later today and detach everything, drill some pocket holes, and fix it. I would caution you guys to drink some coffee, eat some breakfast before you start working, because something like this can happen to you. If you've gotten this far in the video, leave a comment down below about a time when you totally messed something up. Once I had all those legs attached, I actually decided they would look better black, so I went ahead and painted those. And as always, you guys, this is what the piece looked like before we started. And here is the finished result. Personally, I love how this piece turned out. We were able to add several inches to it by adding those new legs, and we were able to save that piece on the bottom with the metal rod, so I look forward to using that in a future project. Someone out there probably could have gotten away with just repainting the drawer pulls, taking some new staging photos, and selling this piece as is, but that's not the kind of person that I am, for better or worse. As always, if you like this video, be sure to leave a like, consider subscribing to see more videos like this, click that notification bell so you know when we post a new video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in our next one. Peace.